My name's Nick Geraci, and I'm here with the Blaze Olive, Team Mountain Midlaner at the NA Scouting Grounds 2017. You guys just finished in third place after a defeat of Team Cloud, 2-0, very convincing. How do you feel about your play in that series?
I thought that I played pretty poorly in lane. I thought that I was missing a lot of CS. I actually broke my mouse yesterday, so I had to use someone else's mouse, so I was kind of like playing around with the settings, so I was kind of a little uncomfortable, but I think as a team we played really well. We had a slight miscommunication on Baron. We were hitting the Baron and we knew Jarvan was over the wall, and we didn't really look at the HP, or like Value wasn't looking at the HP even though we were saying don't finish it, so a little miscommunication, but I think as a team we played really well. We had good vision, we had good understanding, we were always on the same page, so I think overall we played pretty well. So
I want to talk a little bit about your journey here, because to get to Scouting Grounds you have to be pretty good at the game and then be selected. How did you get into, how did pro gaming become your path?
I've been watching people play games my whole life. I watched my dad play like Command & Conquer and those kinds of games, and I've just been watching my brother and my dad play a lot of video games and kind of just followed in their footsteps. The first online game I really played was World of Warcraft, and I played when I was 7 years old. So I got a really early look into online interactions and stuff like that. And moving forward, I kind of played more competitive games, and I always wanted to be a gamer. I always look at the best and stuff, so sports, legends, I always look up to them and I'm like, wow, that's the best job, doing what you love. And I always loved playing video games. I had to stop playing soccer because I wasn't practicing enough. I just wanted to play video games all the time. So when League came out, I really liked the game compared to Warcraft 3 because the auto attacks always did the same amount of damage, because I thought that was weird. And I kind of played it more and more. I was always competing with my brother, and he always beat me because he was older, but League was the first game that I actually got way better than him at, and then he stopped playing that game. So I was like, but I love this game, so I just kept playing it. And so I've been playing since Season 1, and I kind of knew, I was around 12, 13 years old, that this was going to be the game. I knew that this was going to be the game that I was going to do well in because I loved it so much. I love playing it. A lot of people don't like playing it. They're like, man, I don't like winning, but I just love playing the game. Even if I'm losing, I'm always having a blast. So I basically just had the best kind of drive, just loving to play the game, playing a lot of solo queue. Later, I didn't really play much ranked early game, but once I was more 16, 17 years old, I was like, okay, I have to play ranked at high on the ladder. And Season 5 is when I first hit Challenger, and that was a really big milestone. I was really proud of myself, and that's when I started focusing on improvement and playing a lot of amateur tournaments. And I got my first glimpse at a real competitive event, playing in the 2016 Summer NACS. I was playing on Team Nova, and I learned a lot about being a teammate on that team. There were a lot of issues with that team, a lot of conflicting personalities, and since it was my first experience to competitive League of Legends, I was very quiet most of the time, but I kind of moved forward, learned a lot from that, and basically led me all the way up to here. Kind of had a quiet year, and I've just been waiting and super excited for Scouting Grounds.
So you guys, your teammates on Team Mountain were sponsored by Counterlogic Gaming, which means that you got to work with head coach Zix, as well as some of the rest of the support staff, including some professional players in the starting roster. Was there something specific that you took away from learning under the CLG coaching staff that really kind of stuck with you, or something that you felt really helped you elevate your game from this week?
Yeah, I mean, there are actually so many, and I'm not just saying that. There were so many new concepts. They didn't really talk about mechanical things, because mechanics are kind of things that everyone knows, and it's really obvious what the mistake was. So they kind of just glossed over it and only talked about concepts. And I thought that's probably the first thing that I'd say is really helpful. So when we were doing analysis of a game, we didn't look at anything mechanical. We just talked about the idea behind the play, what we should be doing. So that's probably the number one thing. And another thing was that the first thing they said, first day of scrims, was the first rule is if something bad happens, you just say, it's okay, dude, it's okay, we can keep moving, we got this advantage, right? We can do this. And I think that really helps tilt, and personally I know that I've had situations in other games where I feel like I just keep replaying a bad play that I did, but I never had that when I was playing with this team, because every single time I did a bad play, I'd always hear people saying, no, it's okay, dude, we got this, and it was always really helpful. So those were the two really big things that CLG really helped with.
So now we have the finals going right now. And after that, later in the evening, we're going to have the draft where all the teams, the staff are here scouting these amateur players at the Scouting Grounds, and then you guys are presumably going to be drafted. out of all 4 mid laners, why should teams be looking to draft you over the other 3?
I think that I have probably the most potential. I think that the best part, the thing that I showed best today was not any individual play, but more my team cohesion. But I think that to the level of to the other mid laners, I think that my individual play was actually still really solid. Throughout just interacting with those guys so often, we kind of like bounce ideas off of each other. And, you know, I talked to them so much, and it really felt, and maybe this is me being, you know, cocky or something, but I really felt like whenever they wanted to talk to me something, I was like teaching them a lot of stuff. So especially like Palafox, I was telling him like he was doing like really weird stuff, like he wouldn't take attack speed on his ear, and he wouldn't max E on Rise or something, like weird stuff like that. Was like, to me, it's just like I've already known that stuff, so it felt like I was teaching a lot, and that comes from just me being more experienced than them. So I think that if teams are looking for a mid laner that has a lot of already good experience as a teammate and has a very high potential, high ceiling, I think that I'm the best option.
Blaze, thanks so much for the interview.
Thank you.
Hope you had a great week here. It was a great week for me. I had a great time, you know, watching you guys develop cohesion. Last question for you. This one's for my fellow scrubs out there. For anyone trying to get to where you are and also achieve the same goals as you will be trying to achieve, you know, in this career path of yours, what advice would you give?
Definitely my number one advice is to make sure that you actually enjoy playing the game. It kind of sounds cheesy, but it really goes a long way, because it's way easier to come back from like a tough loss if like just playing the game itself is exciting for you, right? And I know a lot of pro players, especially high challenger players, they like, whenever I talk to them, they're just like, man, I hate playing this game. I really don't want to play this game, but I have to because it's my job. And I can't even imagine trying to do that, right? I just think like, if you don't like playing it, like, why are you, right? So I think the number one thing is find a way to make sure that you have fun playing League, and it's going to make getting better 10,000 times easier.
Well said, well said. Are there any people that you might want to thank to follow that final question in this interview?
I want to thank CLG and all of my teammates for helping me improve and helping me get better. I'm sorry I didn't, you know, get us that victory for the first round draft pick, but hopefully, I hope everyone does well, and I really want to thank CLG. They really helped me and our teammates improve tremendously.